High Prelate Varth stood on the command deck of his flagship and watched the human colony burn. The planet called New Bizan was dying below him, and he felt nothing but satisfaction. 3 human worlds had fallen in a single day. It was almost too easy. Report. Voreth commanded. Fleet Commander Talarek stepped forward with a data pad. New Bizan, New Daegu, and Hanuel Station are all destroyed. We killed approximately 2.3 million humans. Their defense was weak. They had almost no military ships. Voreth made a sound of disgust. Pathetic creatures. The Galactic Council told us humans were dangerous. They said we should leave them alone. But look at them. Farmers. Traders. They run from their own shadow. The Keldari Dominion had waited for this moment for decades. Humans occupied 3 resource-rich systems that the Keldari wanted. The Galactic Council had rules about attacking member species, but Varth did not care about rules. Humans were weak. The Council would complain, but they would do nothing. On the burning surface of New Bizan, Captain Yunhana crawled through the ruins of her city. Her uniform was torn and covered in blood. Some of it was hers. Most of it was not. She had watched her family die. Her mother, her father, her younger brother, who was only 17. The Keldari ships had appeared without warning. They had fired on civilian areas first. No military targets. Just homes, schools, hospitals. They wanted to kill as many humans as possible. Hannah found a working communication device in the wreckage of a military outpost. She activated it with shaking hands. "This is Captain Yunhana of the Colonial Defense Force," she said. "New Bizan has fallen. The Keldari attacked without warning. Millions are dead. We need help. Please, someone help us." Her message traveled across space to Earth. It traveled to the Galactic Council headquarters. It traveled everywhere. And in a hidden bunker deep beneath the mountains of Earth. A very old man heard her words. At the Galactic Council, the human ambassador stood before 1,000 alien representatives. Ambassador Myron of the Veluxi watched with growing fear. She was one of the few who knew the old stories. She knew what humans really were. "The Keldari Dominion has committed an act of war against humanity," the human ambassador said. His voice was calm, but Myron could see his hands shaking. "We demand justice. We demand that the Council take action." High Prelate Varth appeared on the main screen. He was still on his flagship, still watching human worlds burn. "Justice?" Varth laughed. "You are prey animals pretending to be civilized. You have no real military. You have no power. What will you do? Cry? Beg? The strong take what they want. The weak die. This is the way of the galaxy." Many council members looked away. Some agreed with Varth. Others were simply afraid. The Keldari Dominion was powerful. Humanity was not. The human ambassador closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them, something had changed in his expression. Something cold. "Very well," he said quietly. "You have made your choice. Now you will live with it." He walked out of the council chamber. Myron tried to follow him, but he was already gone. On Earth, the old man walked through underground tunnels that no one had used in 400 years. His name was Admiral Kang Tai-ho. He was 127 years old, kept alive by medical technology that humans had hidden from the galaxy. He was the last person alive who remembered the old times. The times before humanity chose to sleep. Kang reached a massive door made of metal that was black as space itself. He placed his hand on a scanner. A computer voice spoke. Identity confirmed. Admiral Kang Tai-ho, last surviving member of the original fleet. Authorization required for access. Kang entered a code that had not been used since before most alien species achieved space travel. Authorization code. Wake the sleepers. The door opened slowly. Behind it was a control room filled with ancient screens and computers. Everything powered on for the first time in centuries. Kang sat in the command chair and activated the communication system. "This is Admiral Kang Taeho calling all sleeping fleet commanders. The code is confirmed. Authorization is complete. Wake up. It is time." Across Earth, beneath every ocean, and inside every mountain, massive doors began to open. Ships that had been hidden for 400 years started to power on. Their engines made the ground shake. In orbit around Earth, space itself seemed to crack open as hidden stations came online. Ships appeared from locations that should have been empty. Thousands of them. Then tens of thousands. On her broken world, Hana received a response to her distress call. It was not from the Galactic Council. It was from Earth. "Captain Yoon Hana, this is Earth Command. Help is coming. We are sorry it took so long. We had hoped this day would never come." Hana stared at her communication device. "Who is this? Earth has no military fleet. We are just farmers and traders." There was a pause. Then an old voice spoke. It was Admiral Kang. "That is what we wanted everyone to believe, Captain. We chose peace 400 years ago. We hid our weapons. We pretended to be weak. We did this because we were afraid of ourselves." Hana did not understand. "Afraid? Why would you be afraid?" "Because humans are very good at war, Captain. Too good. We almost destroyed the entire galaxy once. We stopped ourselves. We put ourselves to sleep. We made everyone forget what we were." Another pause. "But now the Keldari have attacked our children. They have killed our families. They have woken the monsters that the galaxy could not control." In the council chamber, Ambassador Myron suddenly felt very cold. Her ancient memory, passed down through generations, finally broke through. She remembered the old stories. The true stories. She ran to find anyone who would listen. "We need to contact the Keldari," she shouted. "We need to warn them. They need to surrender immediately." A council member laughed. "Surrender? The Keldari won. Humans have no fleet." Myron shook her head. "You do not understand. Humans have always had a fleet. The most powerful fleet ever built. They just chose not to use it. They chose to be peaceful. Why would they do that?" Myron's voice dropped to a whisper. "Because when humans go to war, they do not stop. They cannot stop. They keep fighting until nothing is left. That is why they chose to sleep. That is why we all agreed to forget." Above Earth, 10,000 warships completed their power-up sequence. Each ship was larger than anything the galaxy had seen in millennia. They were weapons from a darker time, a time of blood and fire. Admiral Kang gave one final order. "Set course for Keldari space. It is time for the galaxy to remember why they feared us." The sleeping fleet moved as one, jumping into the darkness between stars and across the galaxy. High Prelate Varath continued to celebrate his easy victory, never knowing that death was already coming for him. Ambassador Myron had not slept in 3 days. She moved through the Galactic Council headquarters like a ghost, begging anyone to listen. Most turned away. Some laughed. A few looked at her with pity. "The humans are coming?" she kept saying. "You need to understand what that means." But nobody wanted to understand. In her private quarters, Myron activated a secure channel to the oldest library in the galaxy. It was located on a dead world that had no name. Only scholars were allowed to visit. Only scholars knew what secrets it held. Scholar Orvax appeared on her screen. He was ancient, even by alien standards. His species lived for thousands of years, and he had lived longer than most. "Ambassador Myron," Orvax said, "I expected your call. The humans have awakened their fleet." "Then you know what I know," Myron said. "You have the old records. I am perhaps the only one who remembers them." Orvax closed his eyes. "Would you like to hear the truth? The truth that every species agreed to forget? Yes, I need to understand. I need to make others understand." Orvax began to speak. 4,000 years ago, humans left their home planet. They were young, curious, eager to explore, and the galaxy greeted them with violence. Myron nodded. This part she knew. Every species they encountered tried to kill them. Humans were seen as weak. Short lives. Soft bodies. No natural weapons. Easy prey. Orvax paused. This was a mistake. What happened? Humans learned to fight. But they did not learn to fight like other species. When we fight, we stop when we win. When humans fight, they do not stop. Something in their nature makes them unable to surrender, unable to accept defeat. They fight until their enemy is completely destroyed, or they themselves are dead. Myron felt cold. But that is just determination. No, Orvax shook his head. It is something more. Something deeper. When humans are pushed, they transform. Their fear becomes anger. Their anger becomes action. And their action has no limit. What did they do? Orvax pulled up ancient records on his screen. Images appeared. Burned planets. Dead fleets. Entire species reduced to nothing. In 200 years, humans conquered half the galaxy. They destroyed 17 species completely. Not defeated. Destroyed. Every member. Every colony. Every record. As if they had never existed. Myron could not speak. And then, Orvax continued, something changed. The humans looked at what they had done. They saw the death, the destruction, the empty worlds where life had once existed. And they became horrified. Horrified? Of their enemies? No, of themselves. Orvax brought up another record. It showed a human woman speaking to a massive crowd of both humans and aliens. Her face was tired, sad, but determined. This woman was called Admiral Song. She led the human fleets. She had won every battle, destroyed every enemy. And then she spoke these words. The recording played. "We have become monsters," Admiral Song said. "We told ourselves we were defending our people, protecting our future. But look at what we have done. We have erased civilizations. We have killed billions. We have become the very thing we feared." The crowd was silent. "I propose something that has never been done before. I propose that we stop. Not pause. Stop. We will hide our weapons. We will pretend to be weak. We will let the galaxy forget what we can do. Because if we do not stop ourselves, no one can stop us. And one day, we will destroy everything, including ourselves." The recording ended. "The humans created the Galactic Council," Orvax said. "They wrote the rules. They made the laws. And then they pretended they had always been weak farmers who needed protection. And everyone forgot? Everyone agreed to forget. It was easier that way. The guilt was too heavy. The fear was too strong. So we erased it from our histories. We told our children that humans were harmless. We told ourselves the same lie." Myron understood now. Until the Keldari attacked. Yes, the Keldari saw what we wanted them to see. Weak humans with no military. Easy targets. They did not know the treaty. They did not know that attacking human worlds was the one thing that could wake the sleeping monsters. "We need to warn the Keldari. We need to tell them to surrender." "I have already tried," Orvax said sadly. High Prelate Varth refuses to believe. He thinks the stories are lies. He thinks humans are bluffing. At that moment, in Keldari space, Fleet Commander Tauric was receiving disturbing reports. "What do you mean the scouts are gone?" Tauric demanded. His officer looked nervous. "We sent 50 scout ships to monitor human space after the attack. All 50 have stopped responding. No distress signals. No communication. They simply vanished." Talrek felt something cold in his stomach. "Send more scouts. With full sensor coverage." "Already done, Commander. They are approaching human space now." The main screen showed the scout ships moving through empty space. Everything looked normal. Then the lead ship detected something. "Commander, the scouts are picking up energy signatures. Large ones. Very large. How many ships?" Silence. Then the officer spoke in a voice that shook. 10,000, Commander. At least 10,000 ships. Each one is... Commander, each one is larger than our entire flagship." Talrek grabbed the edge of his console. "That is impossible. Humans have no fleet. The scouts are transmitting visual now." The screen changed. Talrek saw shapes moving through space. They were black as night. They made no sound. They had no lights. They looked like something from a nightmare, and they were moving very, very fast. The scout ships tried to run. They did not get far. The human ships did not fire weapons. They did not need to. They simply flew through the scout formation, and every Caldari ship that they touched exploded. One scout managed to send a final transmission. The screen showed a Caldari officer screaming. Behind him, his ship was being torn apart by forces that should not exist. Then, static. Talrek stood frozen for a long moment. Then he opened a channel to High Prelate Vorath. "High Prelate, we have a problem. The humans are coming, and they have a fleet." Vorath appeared on screen. He looked annoyed. "Impossible. Our intelligence confirmed. Our intelligence was wrong. They have 10,000 warships. Maybe more. And they just destroyed 50 scouts without firing a single shot." Vorath finally looked concerned. "Prepare the main fleet. We will meet them in open space and crush them." "Sir, I do not think you understand. These ships are not like ours. They are not like anything we have seen. They are ships, Commander. Ships can be destroyed. Prepare the fleet. This is not a request." The channel closed. Talrek looked at his officers. They all had the same expression. Fear. "Prepare the fleet," Talrek said quietly, "and pray to whatever gods you believe in. I do not think they will be enough." In the Galactic Council, Myron made one final attempt to warn anyone who would listen. She stood in the main chamber and spoke with tears in her eyes. "The humans gave us peace," she said. "They created everything we have. They chose to sleep so that we could live without fear. And now, because of Caldari arrogance, they are awake. The monsters that the galaxy could not control are awake. And may the stars have mercy on us all, because the humans will not." Nobody laughed anymore. Nobody looked away. They simply waited, hoping that Myron was wrong, that deep in their hearts, they knew she was right, that the humans were coming, and nothing would ever be the same. Admiral Kang Taeho stood on the bridge of the command ship Dawn of Fury. Around him, 10,000 warships waited in perfect formation. Each one was crewed by humans who had trained their entire lives for a war they hoped would never come. That hope was now dead. "Open a channel to all ships." Kang commanded. His communication officer nodded. "Channel open, Admiral." Kang took a deep breath. He was 127 years old. He remembered the old times. He remembered the blood, the fire, the screaming. He had hoped to die without seeing it again, but the Caldari had made their choice. Now humanity would make theirs. "This is Admiral Kang to all fleet commanders," he said. 400 years ago, we chose peace. We hid our ships. We pretended to be weak. We let the galaxy forget what we were. We did this because we were afraid of ourselves." He paused. 3 days ago, the Keldari killed 2.3 million of our people. They attacked colonies full of families, children. They called us prey animals. They said the strong take what they want and the weak die." His voice grew harder. They wanted to meet the monsters that the galaxy could not control. "Very well. Let us show them what they asked for." The fleet began to move. On the occupied surface of New Bizon, Captain Yoon Hana crawled through the ruins with a small group of survivors. They had been hiding for 3 days. The Keldari ground forces were everywhere, searching for humans to capture or kill. Hana had found 17 other soldiers. They had almost no weapons. They had no food. They had no hope. Then the sky changed. The clouds above them seemed to crack open. Light poured through, but it was not sunlight. It was the glow of thousands of ships entering the atmosphere. The Keldari occupation forces looked up in confusion. Their sensors had not detected any incoming ships. Their defense systems had not activated. The human fleet had simply appeared, as if from nowhere. Hana watched as dropships fell from the sky like rain. They were black, with no markings, no lights. They hit the ground hard and their doors opened. Immediately, human soldiers poured out. Hana had never seen soldiers like these. They wore armor that seemed to absorb light. They moved with a speed that should have been impossible. And they did not speak. Not a single word. The Keldari fired their weapons. The human soldiers did not slow down. Some were hit. Some fell. But the others kept moving, kept advancing, kept killing. Hana watched a human soldier take 3 direct hits to the chest. He stumbled, caught himself, and then broke a Keldari neck with his bare hands before falling. Sergeant Lee Yoon led the assault on the main Keldari camp. He was not tall. He was not large. But there was something in his eyes that made even his own soldiers nervous. Duyun had been born for war, trained from childhood, kept in stasis for centuries, waiting for this moment. And now that the moment had come, he felt nothing but cold focus. "Remember the rules," he told his squad. "No prisoners. No mercy. They killed our families. We killed them all." His soldiers nodded. They understood. The assault lasted 6 hours. When it was over, every Keldari soldier on New Bizon was dead. Not captured. Dead. Now found Duyun sitting alone in the ruins of her city. He was covered in blue Keldari blood. His face showed no emotion. "Thank you," she said quietly, "for saving us." Duyun looked at her. For a moment, something human flickered in his eyes. "I'm sorry we were late. I am sorry about your family." Hana sat beside him. "What happens now? Now we do to them what they did to us. We destroy everything they have. Everything? Everything." In orbit above New Bizon, Dr. Park Jae-won activated systems that had not been used in 400 years. He was the chief scientist of the sleeping fleet. He had spent his entire life studying weapons that humanity had promised to never use again. System activated, his computer reported. Quantum destabilization array online. Jae-won felt sick. These weapons did not just destroy ships. They broke the laws of physics. They made matter itself come apart. They were weapons designed for one purpose: total elimination. Commander Shin the Jin appeared on his screen. She was the intelligence officer coordinating the human response. Her face was hard. "Dr. Park, is the array ready?" "It is ready. But Commander, these weapons, the damage they cause, cannot be undone. Once we use them, the Keldari killed 2.3 million people." The Jinn interrupted. "They attacked children. They laughed about it. These weapons exist for situations exactly like this. I understand. I just want you to understand what you are asking me to do." The Jinn was silent for a moment. Then she nodded. I understand, Doctor. History will judge us. But there is a saying among humans. Those who make peaceful revolution impossible make violent revolution inevitable. The Keldari made peace impossible. Now, they will learn what that means. She opened a channel to the entire galaxy. This is Commander Shin the Jin of the Human Defense Force. I am speaking to all species, all worlds, all governments. 3 days ago, the Keldari Dominion attacked human colonies without warning or reason. They killed 2.3 million innocent people. She paused. We gave you peace. We hid our weapons. We pretended to be weak. We did this because we hoped the galaxy had grown beyond violence. We were wrong. Another pause. The Keldari wanted to see the monsters. Very well. Watch what we were hiding. The human fleet moved toward Keldari space. They did not stop to negotiate. They did not send warnings. They simply came. Fleet Commander Taurek assembled the largest Keldari battle fleet in history. 2,000 warships, fully armed, ready to defend their home worlds. They met the human fleet at the edge of Keldari space. All ships, fire at will, Taurek commanded. 2,000 ships opened fire. Missiles, energy beams, kinetic rounds. Everything they had. The human ships did not move. They did not try to dodge. They simply absorbed the attack dot, and then they fired back. Taurek watched as his ships came apart. Not exploded. Came apart. The human weapons did something to them that he could not understand. Matter simply stopped being matter. Ships became clouds of particles. Crews ceased to exist between one heartbeat and the next dot in 30 minutes. The entire Keldari battle fleet was gone. Taurek's flagship was the last to fall. Before it did, he managed to send one final message to High Prelate Varath. They are coming, he said. We cannot stop them. Nothing can stop them. We attacked monsters, and now the monsters are awake. His screen went dark as his ship dissolved around him. Admiral Kang watched the destruction from his command deck. His face showed no pleasure, no satisfaction, only sadness. Set course for the Keldari home world, he ordered. It is time for the High Prelate to face what he has created. The fleet jumped into faster-than-light travel. Behind them, the wreckage of 2,000 ships drifted in space. A reminder to any who watched. The humans were awake, and they were just getting started. Across 1,000 worlds, species that had forgotten suddenly remembered. On the water planet of Veluxe Prime, Ambassador Marin watched the news feeds with tears streaming down her face. The human fleet had destroyed the entire Keldari military in 3 days. 3 days. 2,000 warships reduced to dust dot, and now the humans were approaching the Keldari home world. We should have remembered, Myron whispered. We should never have forgotten. On the ancient library world, Scholar Orvax pulled up records that no one had accessed in centuries. Images of human soldiers marching through alien cities. Images of planets burning. Images of species begging for mercy that never came. The galaxy had agreed to forget. But now the memories were flooding back. General Draven was one of the few Keldari military officers still alive. He had been stationed on a distant outpost when the human fleet arrived. He had watched the destruction through long-range sensors. He had seen his people die. Now he stood on the Keldari homeworld, waiting for the end. General, one of his officers said, the human ground forces are landing. Draven nodded slowly. How many? We do not know, sir. Our sensors cannot track them properly. They appear and disappear. It is like fighting ghosts. Draven had heard stories from the occupied human colonies. Stories of human soldiers who did not seem to feel pain, who did not seem to need rest, who kept fighting even when they should have been dead. He had not believed the stories. Now he would see for himself. the first human soldiers appeared at the edge of the city. They came out of nowhere, their black armor making them almost invisible. They did not run. They did not hide. They simply walked forward, weapons ready. Draven ordered his soldiers to fire. The humans did not stop. He watched a human take a direct hit from an energy weapon. The soldier stumbled, looked down at the burn on his chest, and then kept walking. He killed 3 Caldari before finally falling down. Another human stepped over his body and kept advancing. "What are they?" one of Draven's officers asked. His voice was shaking. "They are humans," Draven said quietly. "They are what we thought we could destroy. We were fools." The battle lasted 12 hours. By the end, Draven was the only Caldari officer still standing. He was surrounded by human soldiers, but they did not kill him. They simply waited. A woman walked through their ranks. She was not tall, not large, but she moved with the confidence of someone who had seen death many times and was no longer afraid of it. "I am Captain Yoon Hana," she said. "You are General Draven?" "I am. Your soldiers killed my family. My mother, my father, my younger brother." Her voice was flat, empty. "I have spent the last 3 days wanting to kill every Caldari I could find." Draven waited for her to raise her weapon. She did not. "But I am tired," Hana continued. "Tired of death. Tired of watching people fall. I have killed enough. More than enough. Then why am I still alive?" Hana looked at him for a long moment. "Because someone has to remember what happened here. Someone has to tell the story. And if I kill every Caldari, there will be no one left to remember." She turned away. "You will be taken prisoner. You will be treated fairly. And when this is over, you will tell your people what you saw. Tell them what humans can do. And tell them why we chose to stop." In orbit above the Caldari home world, Admiral Kang met with Commander Shin the Jin and Dr. Park Jae-won. Scholar Orvax appeared on screen from his distant library world. "The Caldari military is destroyed," the Jin reported. "Their government has collapsed. High Prelate Varath has escaped to a hidden base. We are tracking him. And the civilian population?" Kang asked. "Untouched. As you ordered. We only targeted military assets." Kang nodded slowly. "Good. I did not want to become what they accused us of being." Orvax spoke up. "Admiral, I have finished reviewing the old records. I need to share something with you. Something important. Go ahead." 4,000 years ago, humans created the Galactic Council. You wrote the laws. You built the institutions. You gave us peace." Orvax paused. "But you did not do it out of kindness. You did it out of fear. Fear of what? Fear of yourselves. The old records show that humans nearly destroyed all life in the galaxy. Not just enemy species, everything. You were losing control. Your violence was spreading beyond military targets to civilian populations, to entire worlds." J1 looked uncomfortable. "We know this history, but do you know why you stopped?" Orvax asked. "It was not because of guilt. Not entirely. It was because you calculated that if you continued, within 200 years there would be nothing left. No aliens, no humans. Just empty space." Kang closed his eyes. "We chose to sleep because we were monsters. Yes, and now you are awake. The question is, will you become monsters again?" The room was silent. Then an alert sounded. An officer rushed in with a report. "Admiral, we have located High Prelate Varath. He has activated something called Project Final Glory. It appears to be a planet-killing weapon aimed at Earth." Kang's face went pale. "How did we not detect this?" "It was hidden, buried beneath the surface of a dead moon. It has been charging for the past day. It will be ready to fire in 6 hours." The Jinn immediately began giving orders. All ships, new heading. We need to intercept that weapon. The fleet is too far away, the officer said. We cannot reach it in time. Kang stood up slowly. I can. Everyone turned to look at him. My personal ship, the Endless Dawn, is the fastest in the fleet. I can reach the weapon in 4 hours. I can stop it. Admiral, that is a suicide mission, the Jinn said. You cannot. I am 127 years old, Commander. I have lived long enough. I remember what we were. I remember what we did. I helped create the weapons that now threaten us. He smiled sadly. Let me die doing something good. 2 hours later, Kang's ship approached the Keldari weapon. It was massive, larger than any ship he had ever seen, and it was aimed directly at Earth. High Prelate Varath appeared on his screen. Admiral Kang, Varath said. I was hoping you would come. You cannot stop this weapon. It will destroy your precious Earth. Even if your people defeat us, you will have nothing to go home to. Kang did not respond to the threat. Instead, he asked a simple question. Why? Why attack us? We were peaceful. We left you alone. We asked for nothing. Varath laughed. Because you were weak. Because your worlds had resources we wanted. Because it was easy. His face twisted with hatred. And because deep down, I knew the stories were true. I knew what you really were. I wanted to prove that you were not as dangerous as everyone believed. And now? Now I know you are worse. But it does not matter. In 6 hours, you will be dead, Kang interrupted. And so will I, but Earth will survive. He pushed his ship to maximum speed. The Endless Dawn hit the Keldari weapon at full velocity. The impact triggered every explosive device on Kang's ship. The weapon did not just explode. It came apart, its massive structure breaking into millions of pieces. On the bridge of his hidden base, Varath watched his plan fail. He did not have time to scream before human soldiers broke down his door. In the wreckage of the weapon, a small escape pod drifted through space. Inside, Admiral Kang floated in the darkness, barely alive. His ship had done its job. He had done his job. He smiled as he felt himself slipping away. Then a voice came through his communication system. Admiral Kang, this is Captain Yoon Hana. We have you on sensors. Hold on. We are coming. Kang tried to respond, but his strength was gone. The last thing he heard before losing consciousness was the sound of a human ship approaching. He was going to live, whether he wanted to or not. The galaxy held its breath. The Keldari military was destroyed. High Prelate Varath was captured and waiting for trial. The planet-killing weapon was nothing but debris floating in space. Humanity had won. The only question now was what they would do with their victory. In a medical station orbiting Earth, Admiral Kang Tae-ho slowly recovered from his injuries. He had broken nearly every bone in his body. His heart had stopped twice during surgery. But the doctors had saved him, just as they had saved him 127 years ago when his body had begun to fail. He was not sure if he should thank them or curse them. A meeting was called. Aboard the command ship Dawn of Fury, the leaders of the human military gathered to decide the future of the galaxy. Dr. Park Jae-won came from the science division. Captain Yoon Hana came from the ground forces. Sergeant Lee Do-yoon came as the representative of the soldiers who had done the actual fighting. And Commander Shin the Jin presided over the meeting as the senior officer. Admiral Kang attended through a video screen, still too weak to travel. We have a choice to make, the Jin began. The Keldari are defeated, but they are not the only threat. The galaxy now knows what we can do. Some species will fear us. Some will want revenge. Some will try to attack while we are tired from this war. Then we should not give them the chance, Jae-won said. His voice was cold. We have the weapons. We have the ships. We can secure every major system in the galaxy within a month. No one will ever threaten us again. You are talking about conquest, Hana said. You are talking about becoming exactly what we were 4,000 years ago. And what is wrong with that? We stopped ourselves before because we were afraid. But look what happened when we showed weakness. Look what the Caldari did. We gave them peace, and they killed our families. J1's hands shook with anger. I will not let that happen again. Hana turned to Du Yun. Sergeant, you have been silent. You led the ground assault. You killed more Caldari than anyone. What do you think? Du Yun was quiet for a long moment. Everyone expected him to agree with J1. He was a soldier, born and trained for war. Violence was all he knew, but when he spoke, his voice was tired. I have killed hundreds of people in the past week. Maybe thousands. I lost count. He looked at his hands. I am good at it. Too good. But being good at something does not mean you should do it. What are you saying? J1 demanded. I am saying that I am tired. Tired of the smell of blood. Tired of watching life fade from eyes. Tired of being a monster. Du Yun looked up at the screen where Kang was watching. Admiral, you remember the old times. You remember what we were. Do you want to go back to that? Kang did not answer immediately. He thought about the centuries he had lived, the wars he had fought, the enemies he had destroyed. He thought about the faces of the species that no longer existed because humans had erased them. No, he said finally. I do not want to go back. But I also do not want to be weak. I do not want to hide again and hope that the galaxy leaves us alone. Then what do we do? The Jinn thought it was Hana who answered. We do what we should have done 400 years ago. We do not hide. We do not conquer. We protect. Protect? J1 laughed bitterly. Protect who? Everyone. Hana stood up and walked to the window. Outside, the stars burned cold and bright. The Caldari attacked us because they thought we were weak. Other species will think the same. But what if we become something else? What if instead of hiding or conquering, we become the defenders of the galaxy? You want us to be guardians, the Jinn said slowly. You want us to use our power to keep the peace rather than to dominate. Yes, we are good at war. Better than anyone. So instead of fighting wars for ourselves, we stop wars before they start. We protect the weak. We punish those who attack innocent people. We become the force that no one wants to face. Du Yun nodded slowly. I like that better than conquest. At least then my killing would have meaning. J1 still looked unconvinced. And if someone attacks us again? If another species tries what the Caldari tried? Then we do what we did to the Caldari, Hana said simply. We destroy their military. We remove their leaders. And then we give them a chance to rebuild. We show them that we are not monsters because we are strong. We are strong because we choose not to be monsters. Kang finally spoke again. Commander the Jinn, I am placing you in command of the fleet. The decision is yours. The Jinn closed her eyes. The weight of the galaxy pressed down on her shoulders. Billions of lives. Thousands of worlds. All waiting to see what humanity would choose. We will not conquer, she said. We will not hide. We will protect. And may the stars forgive us if we are making a mistake. 3 months later, the Galactic Council reconvened. For the first time in 400 years, humans sat at the center of the chamber as full members. Not as farmers pretending to be weak. As protectors admitting to their strength. Commander Shin the Jinn addressed the assembly. The Caldari Dominion has been dismantled. High Prelate Vorath has been tried and convicted of crimes against sentient life. He will spend the rest of his existence in prison, thinking about what he did. The council listened in silence. Humanity offers a new treaty to the galaxy. We will maintain our fleet. We will not hide it, but we will not use it for conquest. Instead, we offer protection. Any species that faces unprovoked aggression can request human assistance. We will respond. Ambassador Myron stood up from the Veluxy delegation. And if a species refuses your protection, if they do not want human involvement, then we will respect their wishes. We are not tyrants. We will not force anyone to accept our help. The Jinn paused. But we also will not pretend to be weak anymore. The galaxy now knows what we are capable of. That knowledge alone may prevent more wars. The vote was held. By a margin of 3-1, the new treaty was accepted. Humanity had found a new role. Not as conquerors. Not as victims. As guardians. Years later, on a rebuilt New Bizon, Captain Yoon Hana walked through a memorial garden. Stone markers bore the names of everyone who had died in the Keldari attack. Her mother, her father, her brother. A young Keldari approached her. He was barely an adult, born after the war. He had come to pay his respects to the humans his people had killed. "Captain," he said nervously, "may I ask you a question?" Hana nodded. "Why did the humans not destroy us? You had the power. We had done terrible things to you. Why did you choose mercy?" Hana thought about the question for a long time. She thought about her family, her anger, her desire for revenge. She thought about Du Yun, the killer who chose to stop killing. She thought about Kang, who had given his life to save a world that he would never see again. "Because the real monsters are not the ones who can destroy everything," she said finally. "They are the ones who choose to. We chose not to. That is what makes us human." The young Keldari bowed his head. "Thank you, Captain. I will remember." Hana watched him walk away. Behind her, the sun set over a city that had risen from ashes. Around her, children played in gardens that had once been battlefields. The monsters were still awake. But they had chosen to protect instead of destroy, and that made all the difference.